Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very painful lesson for you.
That's right. Today we're going to go to one of the worst places for me. We're going to go to the dentist.
Okay, so the person in this dialogue has a pain in their mouth, in the tooth area. So let's take a listen to this dialogue, and when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more about it.
What seems to be the problem?
I have a really bad toothache. My cheek is swollen and I can't eat anything.
Let's have a look. This doesn't look too good. I think we may have to pull out your wisdom tooth. It's pressing against your molars, and that's one of the reasons you're experiencing so much pain.
When you pull my tooth, will you also have to extract the nerve and the root?
First, we will take some x-rays and see what we're dealing with. I also noticed a small cavity up front here, so you are going to need a filling.
I guess that's what I get for not flossing or brushing my teeth 3 times a day.
It could be that, or maybe you are eating too many sweets. In any case, I'll administer an anesthetic and you won't feel a thing.
All right, we're back, and obviously we're going to take a look at a lot of vocab related to going to the dentist and experiencing a little bit of pain. So let's take a look at that in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
Okay, first up in Language Takeaway today, we have the root of the problem. It's a toothache.
That's right, we have a really bad toothache.
Okay, well, ache means pain or soreness, and tooth is your tooth. So I could say, oh gosh, I have a really bad toothache.
That's right, that means your tooth or your teeth hurt. And basically, you can combine it like a stomach ache or headache.
Backache. That's right. So usually when you have a toothache, you experience different symptoms. Different things happen to you. What's one of these things, Marco?
Well, in this case, the girl had a swollen cheek. Her cheek is swollen.
Ouch. So the cheek is the side of the face. It's usually where it's a little bit pink. And when your cheek is swollen, it looks puffy. It looks bigger than normal.
That's right. So, for example, sometimes you fall and you hurt your finger and it'll get fat and it'll get puffy, as you say. It's swollen.
That's right. So anything can be swollen, really. When you hit your toe on something hard and your toe later gets bigger, it's swollen.
That's right. So obviously her cheek is swollen and she has a toothache because apparently her wisdom teeth or her wisdom tooth is coming out.
All right, so wisdom teeth are special teeth. I don't know if they actually have anything to do with wisdom, which means being smart.
To be wise.
But wisdom teeth are those 4 teeth in the very, very, very back of your mouth.
That's right. So these are the last teeth that come in or the last teeth that grow in your mouth. So I think usually you're 18 or 20 when they come in.
That's right. A lot of people experience these when they're older. Maybe that's why they call them wisdom teeth, because you're older and you're wiser. I had them when I was about 14, 13.
Oh, really?
So I was very young. But these come in the very back. They're the furthest away from your lips.
Okay, very good. So when they come in, sometimes there's not enough space, and so they start to press against the other teeth in your mouth, specifically against your molars.
So molars are other teeth. These are also in the back of your mouth. You can tell which ones are molars, I believe, because they're flat on top. They look like a little square.
Those are the ones that you use to chew your food with, mostly.
Exactly. They're not pointy like your front teeth. And so molars are in the back of your mouth. Wisdom teeth are in the very back of your mouth. And molars can be very sore when the wisdom teeth push against them. And so in this case, you'll have to take your teeth out, or the dentist will take your teeth out. But what's something we say when we talk about taking the whole tooth out?
Well, in this case, he's going to extract the tooth, but also he's going to extract the nerve and the root.
Okay, so nerves are parts of our bodies. We can't see them, but they help us feel things. So maybe when someone hits me, the nerves in my arm, they tell my brain that it hurts. Well, we also have nerves in our teeth. And that's what we're talking about here. But what's this other thing? You talked about the nerve and
a root. It's very similar to a plant, for example. You consider that your teeth are like plants, and they have little roots that go into your gums. And this is how basically you get teeth stay alive. They are fed basically by your body.
All right, so root, like with a tree or a plant, is the very bottom of something. And in this case, to extract means to take out or to take away. So the dentist will have to extract the root and the nerve. So that sounds pretty painful.
It's painful, but they have to do it, right?
So when the dentist has to extract the tooth, and in this case the nerve and the root and everything, in order for you not to feel it, he gives you special drugs. What are these drugs called?
These are called anesthetics.
Okay, so most people, when they are having major surgery, they get anesthetics so that they can't feel anything. Remember, we were just talking about nerves. Well, anesthetics make it so that you can't feel things through your nerves.
That's right. So obviously you don't want to feel the pain when somebody's pulling that tooth out of your mouth, so you get an anesthetic, and then you don't really feel anything. You kind of feel something, but you don't really feel pain.
Exactly. So anesthetic basically makes you numb.
Numb, that's right. That's the word, numb. Okay, so we've taken a look at a lot of vocab, molars, wisdom teeth, etc. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again, and we'll be back in a bit with Fluency Builder.
What seems to be the problem?
I have a really bad toothache. My cheek is swollen, and I can't eat anything.
Let's have a look. This doesn't look too good. I think we may have to pull out your wisdom tooth. It's pressing against your molars, and that's one of the reasons you are experiencing so much pain.
When you pull my tooth, will you also have to extract the nerve and the root?
First, we will take some x-rays and see what we're dealing with. I also noticed a small cavity up front here, so you are going to need a filling.
I guess that's what I get for not flossing or brushing my teeth 3 times a day.
It could be that, or maybe you are eating too many sweets. In any case, I'll administer an anesthetic and you won't feel a thing.
All right, so the topic of today's lesson is toothache, but it's also basically about learning that you will have to have your tooth taken out. So to say this, we say to pull out a tooth.
Okay, so that's what the dentist said. I think we may have to pull out your wisdom tooth.
Not good news.
Okay, so to pull out means to extract.
So just remember here, this is a phrase that has pull out. Out would be the preposition here. We wouldn't say pull off or pull at. We'd say pull out.
Like, for example, you can pull out a hair or your hair.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're pulling out the wisdom tooth, and the dentist first wants to take some x-rays to see what we're dealing with.
Okay, so to deal with something means to work on it or to have something to do with. And so in this case, the dentist wants to know, is this serious? What are we dealing with here?
That's right.
And so he's trying to judge the situation.
So maybe what would be another scenario or another situation where you would say, I have to see what we're dealing with?
Well, in the case of the weather and the newsmen who report about the weather, maybe they see that a storm is coming, but they have to look at the radars and the computer screens to see what they're dealing with. Is it a serious storm or is it a very weak storm? They have to evaluate.
That's right. Okay, very good. And so we're going to see what we're dealing with. And then the girl, I think, knows that she hasn't really taken good care of her teeth. And so she says, I guess that's what I get for not flossing or brushing my teeth.
So that's what you get, or that's what I get. Here, the pronoun changes. I, you, he. That's what I get for not taking care of myself. This means it's my fault.
I deserved it.
I deserve this thing. So I could say, Marco, that's what you get for not doing your homework. You got a bad grade on your test.
That's right. So it's basically a way of saying that's what you deserve. That's the consequence for your actions.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about our last phrase?
Well, this is something that I hate to hear from doctors and dentists because usually it's a lie. A dentist will say before he gives you a shot or before he takes your tooth out, you won't feel a thing.
That's right. So he's basically saying you're not going to feel any pain. But why do we say you won't feel a thing instead of you won't feel anything?
It's just a set phrase. It's something we say. I would remember it like this because it's more likely to be said in this way. You won't feel a thing. I think it basically means not even one little thing. You're not going to feel that. So,
Right.
For example, I'm about to fix someone's back, when you have to pull them and make their back feel better. I say, you won't feel a thing. And you
Right.
fix their back.
Okay. So you won't feel a thing or you won't feel anything. Both are correct, but I think it's more common to hear you won't feel a thing. Okay, so why don't we go back? Let's take one last look at our dialogue and we'll be back in a bit.
What seems to be the problem?
I have a really bad toothache. My cheek is swollen and I can't eat anything.
Let's have a look. This doesn't look too good. I think we may have to pull out your wisdom tooth. It's pressing against your molars, and that's one of the reasons you're experiencing so much pain.
When you pull my tooth, will you also have to extract the nerve and the root?
First, we will take some x-rays and see what we're dealing with. I also noticed a small cavity up front here, so you are going to need a filling.
I guess that's what I get for not flossing or brushing my teeth 3 times a day.
It could be that, or maybe you are eating too many sweets. In any case, I'll administer an anesthetic and you won't feel a thing.
All right, so talking about dentists and talking about wisdom teeth, you say that you still have all 4 wisdom teeth.
I do. They're all still back there.
So you didn't need to have them taken out or pulled.
No, as my dentist likes to say, I have a big mouth, which in English has 2 meanings. A big mouth is not just a large mouth, but also it means you like to talk a lot.
Right. So, but did you ever have braces, for example, when you were a
Oh,
kid?
yes.
Oh, you had braces.
I had a retainer, which is a device that it looks like a line across your teeth, and you put it in usually at night, but sometimes during the day, and it makes some space in your mouth. But I also had braces after that. I hated braces. I had them for 2 years
Why did you hate braces?
because they're uncomfortable. Well, they don't look very good, especially when you're a 13-year-old girl and you want to look cute and you have this big metal thing in your mouth.
That's right.
Did you have braces?
No, I never had braces. Actually, it was kind of, for a while, I think a lot of people thought it was cool to have braces.
I did not grow up where you grew up.
Really?
It was not cool where I grew up.
I don't know. I think, or it gets to a point where in certain parts, I guess my school was filled with kids that had braces. So I guess everyone just had really bad teeth. So obviously the people that didn't have braces kind of were left aside. So you're like, oh, I want braces. I want to be part of the group.
Kind of like sometimes I wish I had glasses, because everyone I know has glasses.
Really?
But, yeah.
If you have good vision, though.
Yeah, it sucks to be perfect, right?
Well, this is a really interesting topic, and going to the dentist is always complicated. Maybe some of our listeners are dentists themselves, or they have some stories that they can share with us.
Luca, turn on the bathroom light. Right now.
What? What happened?
I just spit in the sink and something hard clinked, like a pebble.
A pebble from your mouth.
Look, in the sink. That tiny white thing. Tell me that's not...
Oh my God, that looks like a piece of tooth.
I just brushing and I felt this sharp crack. Now my whole jaw is throbbing.
Okay, breathe. Can you open your mouth?
Barely. And my cheek feels huge, like it's filling up.
Your cheek is swollen. Not a little. Swollen.
My face is going to look like I lost a boxing match before sunrise.
This is an emergency dentist situation. Toothache plus swelling is not a wait-and-see thing.
It hurts so bad I can't even swallow right, and I can't eat anything.
All right, hoodie, keys, phone. I'm calling a 24-hour clinic.
5:50 a.m. I hate today already.
I found one. They open at 6:30. We leave in 5 minutes.
What if the dentist says I need my tooth pulled out?
Then we deal with it, one step at a time.
I'm scared of the word extract.
Me too, and it's not even my mouth.
I keep touching my cheek like it's going to explode.
Don't poke it. Swelling means inflammation, maybe infection. We're doing the right thing by going now.
I swear this came out of nowhere. Last night it was just a little ache.
Toothache loves pretending it's small until it's not.
I literally thought that's what I get for eating too many sweets and went to sleep.
I mean, probably, yeah. But also, wisdom teeth can mess you up even if you're a saint.
Wisdom teeth are those back teeth.
Yeah, way in the back. Sometimes they come in and there isn't enough space, so they press against your molars.
Molars are the flat ones you chew with.
Exactly. And when something presses on them, you experience pain that makes you question your life choices.
Never get a lover. Wow, very comforting.
I'm trying to prepare you. Also, they'll probably do x-rays to see what we're dealing with.
See what we're dealing with makes it sound like a crime scene.
Dentistry kind of is. Tiny crimes, big consequences.
The waiting room smells like mint and anxiety.
That's the official dentist perfume.
My hands are shaking. I hate being here.
Sit close to me. You can squeeze my hand, just don't break it.
If I start crying in the chair, don't act surprised.
I won't. I'll just look angry at the germs.
They're calling my name.
I'm right here when you come back. Promise.
Okay, bad news and worse news?
Tell me.
The dentist thinks it's my wisdom tooth. It's pressing against my molars, and that's why I've been experiencing so much pain.
That tracks with the swelling.
He said it doesn't look too good. Then he showed me the x-ray like I should understand dental art.
And the toothpiece in the sink?
He says the back area is irritated, and I also have a small cavity up front. So I need a filling, too.
Of course. A bonus problem.
I told him I guess that's what I get for not flossing, and he didn't even smile. He just nodded like a disappointed teacher.
Brutal.
Now, here's the scary part. He said we might have to pull out the wisdom tooth today.
Today?
Yes. Like, we can do it now if you're ready.
Are you?
No, but also yes, because I can't live like this.
What did he say about pain?
He said he'll administer an anesthetic and I won't feel a thing.
The most suspicious sentence in medical history.
I asked if he'll have to extract the nerve and the root, and he said it depends on what the x-rays show and how the tooth is sitting.
The nerve is what carries pain, right?
Yeah, like little wires. He explained it like my tooth is a plant and the root goes into my gums.
Great. Your mouth has landscaping.
Great. He wants to do the filling first, then numb the back, then decide.
That's smart. One fire at a time.
I'm terrified of the shot.
You can stare at the ceiling and think about our couch. Our couch is safe.
And soup.
Warm soup.
And smoothies. You'll live on smoothies for 2 days and call it a detox.
Can you stay with me until they take me back? I'm not moving.
My lip is numb. Like half my face doesn't belong to me.
But your eyes look calmer.
The filling is done. The drill sounded like a tiny motorcycle in my skull, but I survived.
See? Tough.
Now he's checking the back again. He said if it's too complicated, he won't force it today.
Good. Careful is what you want.
Luca, what if I swell up like a balloon after?
Then we ice it, you rest, and you milk maximum sympathy.
I already have the swollen cheek. I'm basically practicing.
Exactly. And you're taking the rest of the day off. No work guilt.
That might be the only good part of this.
I deserve a break. Not like this, but still.
Okay, it's out.
Wait, he pulled out the wisdom tooth?
Yep. He said all done. And I was like, how?
Did it hurt?
I felt pressure. I heard weird crunchy sounds, but no sharp pain. He was right. I didn't feel a thing.
Wow. A dentist promise that came true.
I'm honestly shocked. The toothache is gone. It's like someone turned off an alarm inside my head.
Thank God.
He gave me a list of rules. No straws, no hard food, no smoking, don't rinse like crazy, brush gently.
And floss?
He said floss like it was a law. He looked me dead in the eyes.
The floss sermon has been delivered.
I deserve it.
Do you need antibiotics?
He prescribed them because of the swelling, and he said to come back if the cheek gets worse or I get feverish.
Good. We'll follow the plan.
My mouth feels like a sleepy cloud. Also, I think I'm drooling.
You are a little. It's kind of adorable.
Don't you dare.
Okay, no jokes. Let's get you home, soup, blankets, and silence.
And tomorrow you're buying floss. The good kind.
Deal. And for the record, you were brave as hell today.
Don't make me cry. I can't even feel my face.
Then I'll just say it quietly. I'm proud of you.
Thank you for not leaving me alone in there.
Always. Even if I'm terrified too.
Next time my tooth even whispers ache, I'm calling a dentist immediately.
That's the lesson. No more waiting until the pebble in the sink moment.
Agreed. Now drive, please, before I accidentally bite my numb cheek and start the whole nightmare again.
Seatbelt on, hoodie up. Let's go home, tough girl.
A toothache tried to ruin my whole week, and it almost won. It started with a tiny ache in the back of my mouth. The kind you try to ignore because you have a life and you have plans and you do not have time for drama. I told myself it would pass. I drank water, I acted tough, I chewed on the other side like I was outsmarting my own body. By lunchtime, I was experiencing pain that had a personality. It wasn't just a sore spot anymore, it was a full complaint. Every time my tongue brushed that area, my brain did a small emergency dance. I tried to keep it cute at work, nodding at people, smiling like everything was normal, but my mouth felt like it was holding a grudge. Then the cheek on that side started to swell, just a little at first, like a secret. By evening, it looked puffy, like my face had decided to store extra air. I stood in front of the mirror and tilted my head, hoping the angle would fix it, like angles fix everything on social media. No luck. I tried to eat dinner and realized I could not eat anything that required real chewing. Even soft bread felt like a personal attack. I swallowed soup and stared at the spoon like it betrayed me. And the weird thing about pain is it makes you emotional about small things. The sound of someone biting an apple in a commercial felt rude. The smell of sweets from the bakery down the street made me suspicious. A friend texted me a picture of cupcakes, and I wanted to block the whole dessert category. I sat on my bed that night, holding my jaw, breathing slow, trying to relax, and all I could think was, this is what I get for moving too fast through life, for skipping flossing when I was tired, for brushing like it was a speed race instead of care, for acting like my teeth would just magically stay polite forever. That sentence kept popping up in my head like a notification I couldn't swipe away. That's what I get. And the ache didn't let me sleep properly. I would drift off for a few minutes, then wake up with that hot, sharp reminder, sitting up like I heard a noise in the house. By 2 in the morning, I was in my kitchen with an ice pack pressed to my cheek, pacing like a worried detective, then sitting again, then pacing again, because somehow moving made me feel less trapped. My cheek was swollen, my mood was wrecked, and my appetite was gone. The next morning, I walked outside and the cold air hit my face in a way that should have felt fresh, but instead it just made the ache louder, like it enjoyed the attention. I tried to pretend I was fine, but anyone who looked at me could tell something was off. My cheek looked bigger than normal, and I had that careful mouth posture that people get when they're trying not to trigger pain. Even laughing felt risky. Then my neighbor saw me and did that concerned look people do before they ask if everything is okay, and I just shook my head and said, "Toothache," like it was one word that explained the whole world. She immediately said I needed a dentist, and I made that face we all make when we hear the word dentist, like we just smelled something unpleasant. Still, I called. The receptionist was cheerful in that professional way, and I tried to match her energy, but my voice was tight because my jaw didn't want to cooperate. She gave me an appointment for that afternoon, and I spent the next few hours walking around like I was undergoing a strange trial. Time moved slowly. The ache would rise and fall like waves. I kept touching my cheek, feeling the swelling, hoping it would shrink out of shame. It didn't. When I finally arrived at the dental office, the smell hit me first. That clean, minty medical smell that creates instant fear. The waiting room had a fish tank, and one lazy fish was cruising around like nothing in life had ever bothered him. I wanted his confidence. I filled out papers with my name and my phone number and my dignity, all while my cheek throbbed. Across from me, a teenager was sitting with braces, tapping his foot impatiently, and his mom kept whispering for him to stop. Another guy was holding his jaw with a dramatic hand, like he was in a silent movie. Everyone was pretending to be calm, but you could feel the tension like static in a sweater. When my name was called, I stood up too fast and immediately regretted it, because even standing made the pain feel sharper. I walked down the hallway, past doors and bright lights, to the chair. The chair looked comfortable, which is part of the trick. The dentist greeted me with that steady calm that doctors have, and I sat down, trying to look brave while my tooth tried to escape my body. He asked me to open wide, so I did, and he leaned in with that tiny mirror and bright light that makes you feel like your mouth is being interrogated. He didn't rush. He looked, paused, looked again. That pause was the scariest moment, because pauses give your imagination too much room. Then he said it didn't look too good. Simple words, but my stomach dropped anyway. He said he thought we might have to pull out my wisdom tooth, the one way in the back that had been pushing and causing all this trouble. Hearing it out loud made it real. Pull out. Not trim, not smooth, not adjust. Pull out. Like pulling out a hair, but inside your mouth, and your whole brain hates that idea. He pointed to the area and said the wisdom tooth was coming out and pressing against my molars, and that pressure was one reason I was experiencing so much pain. He said we needed to take x-rays first and see what we were dealing with, and that phrase made me feel like my toothache was some kind of wild creature hiding in the dark. The assistant draped that heavy protective apron over me, the kind that makes you feel like a superhero in a lead cape, and positioned my head. The x-ray machine moved around with a soft mechanical hum. I stared at the ceiling and tried to breathe steadily while my heart did a small sprint. When it was done, we went back to the chair, and the dentist studied the images on a screen. His eyes moved like he was reading a complicated message. Then he pointed again and said there was also a small cavity up front, and I was going to need a filling. Of course, a bonus problem. Like life saying, since you're already here, let's add another item to your cart. I felt embarrassed, even though he wasn't shaming me. My brain suffered a tiny flashback of nights when I failed to floss, mornings when I brushed too quickly because I was late, weeks when I ate too many sweets and told myself it wasn't a big deal. The dentist mentioned my habits in a calm voice, not dramatic, just practical, like a person describing weather. It could be from not flossing or not brushing enough, he said, and it could also be from too many sweets. He said it the same way someone says a plant needs water. I sat there with my swollen cheek and thought again, that's what I get. The thing about that sentence is it sounds harsh, but in that moment it also sounded honest. It sounded like consequence walking into the room quietly and sitting down next to me. Then he said he would administer an anesthetic, so I wouldn't feel a thing. He said it smoothly, like a line he had delivered 1,000 times. You won't feel a thing. Those words are supposed to be comforting, but my body didn't fully trust them. Still, when you're in that chair, you accept the plan. The assistant prepared everything, the dentist cleaned the area, and then came the shot. I won't call it horrible. I'll call it unpleasant and fast. After that, time got weird. My lips started to feel too big. My cheek felt thick, heavy, not painful exactly, just strange, like my face had been borrowed, and I was waiting for it to be returned. The dentist tested the area gently, watched my reaction, and nodded. He got to work. The pain was mostly gone, replaced by pressure, deep pressure, that felt like someone pushing furniture across the floor inside my jaw. I could hear sounds I did not want to describe. I stared at the ceiling and focused on the idea that this was help, not harm, even if my instincts were screaming. At one point, he mentioned the nerve and the root in that calm voice again, like he was talking about parts of a tree, and I pictured roots under the gums, invisible but real, and I tried not to imagine anything being extracted from my head. He worked carefully, like a person who has done this forever, and the assistant kept passing tools like this was a normal afternoon. The dentist kept saying small, reassuring lines, the kind that keep you steady. A few times, he repeated that I wouldn't feel a thing, and in a strange way, the repetition became its own comfort. I didn't feel sharp pain, but I felt the whole experience in my body. The tension in my shoulders, the tight grip of my hands on the armrests, the way my toes curled inside my shoes like they wanted to hide. It was almost funny that my face was numb and calm while the rest of me was acting like I was climbing a mountain. When the filling was done, he smoothed it, checked it, and made sure everything fit right. Then he spoke about the wisdom tooth situation again, and how sometimes it needs to be pulled out if it keeps pressing and causing problems, and sometimes you watch it and decide later. He gave me a plan, not a speech. He gave me that steady look that says he sees this every day, and people survive it. When I stood up, my legs felt fine, but my mouth felt like it had been through a whole story. The assistant handed me instructions and gauze, and I nodded with that numb half-smile where you look like you agree with everything because your facial muscles are on vacation. I walked out into the street, and the air felt too sharp and bright. My cheek was still swollen, my lip was numb, and I was suddenly very aware of how hard it is to swallow neatly when your face isn't cooperating. I went home, tried to sip tea, missed my mouth a little, and laughed at myself, then stopped laughing because laughing shook my jaw, and my jaw was not in the mood. For the next couple of days, I lived on soft food and patience. I ate soup, yogurt, mashed potatoes, anything that didn't demand chewing. I brushed gently like I was protecting something precious. I flossed like a person trying to rebuild trust with their future self. I watched sweets from a distance like we were in a temporary breakup. And my cheek slowly stopped being swollen, little by little, like a storm leaving the sky but keeping the street damp. At some point, I caught myself looking at old photos and laughing at how confident I used to be, biting into anything like my teeth were indestructible. I thought about the kid in the waiting room with braces, the way he seemed annoyed and nervous at the same time, and I remembered a friend from school who hated her braces because they looked like metal armor in her mouth, and she wanted to look cute and felt like the braces were arguing with that dream. I remembered another friend who wore a retainer at night, that plastic and wire device that made his words sound slightly different when he forgot to take it out, and we teased him gently, but he kept wearing it anyway because he wanted space in his mouth and a better future for his teeth. Then, at my follow-up, the dentist joked that I had a big mouth, and I laughed even though my laugh was still careful. The joke landed in two places at once because big mouth can be a literal thing in that chair when you are trying to open wide, and it can also be a personality thing, the type of person who loves to talk and share stories. That day, I was both. I was literally sitting there with my mouth open for the world. And afterward, I went straight to my friends and told them the whole dramatic tale, because apparently I cannot keep quiet about anything that happens to me. I told them about the x-rays, about seeing what we were dealing with, about the molars and that wisdom tooth pushing like an uninvited guest, about the cavity up front that demanded a filling, about the moment the anesthetic kicked in and my lip felt like a balloon, about the promise that I wouldn't feel a thing, about the strange pressure that proved I did feel something, just not pain, about the swelling that made my cheek look like it had its own agenda, about not being able to eat anything that required real chewing, and about that sentence that kept echoing in my head. That's what I get, not as punishment, but as a reminder that small habits create big outcomes. And here's the twist that surprised me the most. After all the worry, after all the tension, after all the dramatic feelings, I felt lighter. Not because I love dentists, never that, but because I stopped pretending I could outsmart the pain by ignoring it. I faced it. I let someone help. I let the problem be named. I walked out with a numb cheek and a sore jaw, but also with a quiet kind of relief, like my body and my brain finally agreed on the same plan. A toothache starts as a whisper and turns into a siren if you keep delaying. And when you finally do something about it, the fear shrinks back to its real size, and you realize you can handle more than you thought. I went home, laid down, and for the first time in days, I fell asleep without waking up to that sharp ache, and the quiet felt like a gift I didn't know I was missing.